passing of the Eskimos in late August. It's been a streaky season for the green and gold. Coached by Jason Moss, 7 wins, followed by 6 losses, and now on a 4-game win streak after a perfect October. Greg Morris, Marcus Thigpen are deep. The Roughriders won the toss. They want the football early, and here we go. Greg Morris with the ball at the 15-yard line, and he'll be brought down just across the 20. And that's where Kevin Glenn will lead the Roughriders out.
9-7, Kevin Glenn this year against the Edmonton Eskimos, an 11-12-1 record as a starter. 25 touchdown passes for Kevin Glenn in the 2017 campaign with 14 interceptions. 3 of the last 4 games he didn't finish. He went to Brandon Banks.
Those happen to be his last 3 wins. Over the middle, first pass he is caught. Tight coverage there by Corey Jones, but it's Bakari Grant, and that will put him over 1,000 yards on the year. First target to a guy who is trying to get out of the doghouse after that play last week.
Yeah, there's the starting tailback, Marcus Thigpen. They're going to rest Cameron Marshall for the playoffs, and Trent Richardson has an ankle. It is Thigpen, the starting tailback tonight. There's the nominee for outstanding lineman for the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and Brendan Labatt. And it's Brandon Bridge, by the way.
2nd and 4, and that pass nearly intercepted. Ball glanced off somebody. It was Konar, and Johnny Adams will do push-ups after failing to come up with an interception. He's had one against Saskatchewan. It's a 2-and-out for the Roughriders to start.
Yeah, timing route to the right of Kevin Glenn here. He wants to try and get this ball out on time, and it looked like Konar got underneath it. He just played the play, tips it up, and it's right through the hands of Johnny Adams.
So Josh Bartell to punt. Blustery, windy conditions here. We'll see how it affects the kicking game. This one launched, knuckleball, and on a hop, Jamil Smith picks it up and is contained. Good downfield coverage there on the play. And Mike Riley will lead the Edmonton Eskimos out. A season low 160 yards in his start against the Roughriders.
But leads the league in passing yards with 55-36, as I mentioned. There's the 30 touchdowns against the 13 interceptions. When these two teams played, Edmonton turned the ball over 5 times. 2 pick sixes in that game for Saskatchewan.
Riley 128 yards away from the best passing season in Eskimo history. I think he got surprised by that shotgun snap, but hands it off to C.J. Gable, and Gable plunges ahead for 4.
Nice big fat 5.4-yard average for C.J. Gable. He's had 2 100-yard rushing games as an Edmonton Eskimo, and his final game in Hamilton was 100 yards as well. 82 last week. And there's the nominee, 2-time nominee, Matt O'Donnell, Canadian and offensive lineman for the Edmonton Eskimos. At right guard.
Calvin McCarty checks in on 2nd down. Oh. And the pass for Bowman skips short, incomplete. You think that was a...
Yep, that was a mistake. And I'm not sure if it was C.J. Gable went the wrong way or Mike Riley opened up the wrong way, but it's amazing to me how that this doesn't seem like anything. Take a look at Riley. I mean, it doesn't matter because he's still in the pocket ready to throw, but it's amazing how none of those plays ever are successful when there's a mistake in the backfield. It just throws the timing and the rhythm off offensively.
So 2-and-outs for either side to open. And Hugh O'Neill will kick to Christian Jones. Good boot by Jones. Drives, or by O'Neill, drives Jones back to the 25. That's covered well. A 50-yard punt, 4 on the return. Chad Owens, back for 2 games, has led the Roughriders in receiving for 2 games. The CFL on TSN is brought to you by the Nissan Titan, official vehicle of the Canadian Football League. Second possession for Kevin Glenn and the Roughriders. It will begin at the 30. Keenan LaFrance in the backfield. Fake to LaFrance with pressure on, and they'll screen it to LaFrance. And here's LaFrance, who scorched the Eskimos last year on a snowy turf in Ottawa. Elmondo Sewell comes back to make the tackle.
Marcus Thigpen was named the starter, but we will see some Keenan LaFrance at the tailback spot, and they go with that little tailback screen on the side of John Chick. Was in a straight bull rush up the field, and they threw the ball right in behind him.
Now the Roughriders go to a tight end formation with Darius Bladdock, and the fly sweep to Owens, who gets inside. Ladler turns it up and is close to another first down. Fourth time he's carried the football since his return.
Starts out just on that cross motion and then gets that fly sweep, bubbles it a little bit, but he's got the speed to make it up. So give Chad Owens the leeway to lose a couple of yards to gain 10.
So now 32 yards rushing, along with 192 yards receiving after the first two games. In this first play to him to the wide side of the field, a catch is made by Caleb Hawley, bumped out by Arjun Colhoun, and that's 9 more.
Take a look at the Edmonton Eskimos defense. It got better when Elmondo Sewell came back to the lineup after missing a game due to injury. Kenny Ladler did not play last week, was nicked, is back in the lineup, the outstanding defensive player nominee. Aaron Grimes may be their best cover man and probably fastest player on the team, or one of them, but he's the only guy in the secondary without an interception. Maybe tonight for Aaron Grimes.
8 tackles for Grimes last week against Calgary.
Best player on defense, though, and most consistent has been Kenny Ladler. Out of Vanderbilt, leads the team in interceptions with 3.
Number 4 in defensive points. Marcus Thigpen's in the backfield, double tight ends with Spencer Moore and Bladdock on first down. And the handoff to Thigpen, a running back in college, but for his pro career, for the most part, just a return man and receiver.
Well, he's been a good return man, though. I mean, you go back to his days in Hamilton, 2010, 2011, scoring 5 different ways in 2010. Went down to the National Football League and scored in his first touch in the NFL as well. But, you know, I'm interested to see him here, Chris, because he's a breakaway guy. If he gets a seam, that D-line linebacking, he can get to that next level. He's got breakaway speed.
Trent Richardson, an ankle injury after 127 yards last week. Kevin Glenn over the middle, and there is Ladler to knock it away from Bakari Grant.
10th knockdown of the season for Kenny Ladler. I mean, you look at his stat sheet, game in, game out, the guy just makes plays. I mean, and this time it's on Bakari Grant. He's going to sit down and just sit with him. I mean, this is Adam Konar and Kenny Ladler now that played the play. And what I mean by that is they didn't drop to an area then react to the receiver. They just ran with the receiver and sat on it until he knocked it down.
Well, a mistake here. They had too many men in the huddle, and that's going to be a penalty against the Roughriders.
Saskatchewan, this 10-yard penalty, remains third down.
Yeah, that's going to take the field goal unit off after they were going to attempt a 48-yarder. So an early mistake here. And now the punt team comes on. So Josh Bartell instead will look for the pin 10 times. He has hit it inside the 10 this year. That's second in the league behind Rob Maver, who has 12. This one fielded by Smith at the 12, and he'll bring it back to the 20-yard line and step out of bounds. And that's where the Eskimos will go to work. And Darius Bowman with a couple of huge bounce-back games, 136 yards against BC, and last week a pair of touchdowns against the Stampeders.
Well, Well, he is back. Darius Bowman against the Calgary Stampeders, a 29-20 win, and Bowman had 49 yards on 5 catches, but 2 big touchdowns in that game. And the previous game against the BC Lions, over 100 yards receiving. So struggled when he came off the injured list, but he is back.
Mike Riley stands in the pocket, throws over the middle, and Brandon Zylstra is open and loose, and he'll spin out of bounds at the 47-yard line. The league leading receiver with catch number 98. 27 for Zylstra.
Mike Riley has so many weapons. The leading receiver in the CFL. Let's start with him. And Riley, just a nice job to shuffle to his right. Little pocket management there to buy himself an extra second and get Zylstra over the middle.
First down up at the 47. Bowman in motion. And the handoff to C.J. Gable. Not much there. And the Riders corral Gable for a couple.
And Deron Carter playing corner again for Saskatchewan. See him on both sides of the ball. There's Willie Jefferson. Didn't get the nominee this year for outstanding defensive player, but certainly could have. And there's Enoch Mwamba, who was the nominee for outstanding Canadian for Saskatchewan. And in the secondary, there is your nominee for outstanding defensive player. 10 interceptions on the season for Ed Gainey, and 1 called back last week.
Casey Rogers has been in and out of the lineup, and right now out, and being replaced by Carter on second down. Here comes the blitz. Riley takes a hit, but gets it away, and Carter with a hit on Darrell Walker, who holds on at the Saskatchewan sideline. Big pressure from Toby Antigua. This will be close to a first down.
Quick decision here by Mike Riley. Watch him recognize blitz and then spin around to get the ball out of there. Sees the blitz and he can't block it from Antigua, so he turns his hips and gets it out of there to Darrell Walker.
3rd and less than a yard, and the Eskimos plunge forward for what will be a first down in Saskatchewan territory. Mike Riley last week, exceptionally sharp, 284 yards passing and 3 touchdowns against the Stamps. And he's been running more of late. 7 carries, 48 last week, and 178 yards in the last 5 games. And that seems to have kick-started this Eskimo late season rally. Perfect in October. Fake to Gable. Pressure coming. And Riley got away. And he'll run out of bounds just beyond the line of scrimmage. Initial heat from Rakeem Cox.
Yeah, Mike Riley is 5 yards away from becoming Edmonton's leading rusher this year. Part of the reason for that is because of the injuries. John White injured early in the season. They've gone through Ladarius Perkins, who's also injured, Pascal Lachard, C.J. Gable, but Trayvon Van, a couple more rushes for Riley tonight, and he'll be the leading rusher in this football team. Last quarterback to do that was Mike Riley.
2nd and 9, 3-man rush. More pressure, an outlet to Gable, and he is upended. Good sure tackle on the play. And that's Deron Carter with another defensive play from the corner spot.
Pressure on Mike Riley from Willie Jefferson. He just knocked the hands down there of Colin Kelly. He gets in his face, has to dump it to the check down, and Corey Watson.
It was Corey Watson. 3rd down, and now O'Neill looks for the corner. Christian Jones going to let that bounce.
Good decision.
Made the right call. Is it going to come back out? And it will be a rouge. A little backspin by O'Neill, almost had it come out of the end zone, but Christian Jones makes the right decision. The Eskimos on the board first, 1-0. Kevin Glenn just short of 4,000 yards passing for what would be the 4th time in his career. Ten-win season, back in the playoffs, and a lot of numbers will tell you why.
just tremendous improvement. You see points per game, touchdowns, passing touchdowns, but the biggest for me is this one right here. That's the turnover ratio from a -15, last in the league, to a +14. Turnovers so important. You win that giveaway, takeaway, you win the game more than not.
And off to LaFrance, off the right side. Had running room and dances for a first down, brought down by Konar. Ladler also in on the tackle, but Keenan LaFrance starting out like he's going to have another big day against the Edmonton Eskimos.
And wants to be an option for Chris Jones, wants to be on the roster come the playoff game, whichever way they go, and you do that by producing when you get your chance. We can get your hands on the rock, take it, and make the best of it.
And the advantage, if he's on, an extra important receiver can also play. So he gives Chris Jones more options. Rob Bagg unable to scoop that up off the turf. Incomplete. And Kevin Glenn got rocked by Daquan Bowers. Needed a little help up, but doesn't look like he's going to miss a play.
There he is right here. Let's take a look at the hit on Kevin Glenn. Mentioned 3 of the 4 games they've just played, he has not finished. Not because he was hurt. Got away with a little bit of a face mask. Didn't grab it.
2nd and 10. Pocket collapsing. Glenn trying to get out of trouble, and he throws low to LaFrance, incomplete, but did well to avoid the sack. Sewell and Bowers turn up the heat again.
It's been a winning formula. You mentioned it. The 3 games that Brandon Bridge has come off the bench, the Saskatchewan Roughriders have won. And part of the reason Chris Jones has done that is because that pressure on Kevin Glenn becomes a problem. And he thinks that the more athletic Brandon Bridge gives him a better chance to avoid that kind of pressure. We'll keep an eye on that if Edmonton keeps getting that pressure.
Bartel punches that low punt, but it's a big return. Jamel Smith trying to outrun, and he's going to get hauled down around the 48-yard line, as it was Bartel who recovered to make the tackle. But Jamel Smith sets up the Eskimos with a 27-yard return. Jason Moss has bad memories of a snow game last year in the Eastern Final, but doesn't want his team to forget with more. Lee Jones.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Chris. You know, not only have the Eskimos practiced in these conditions all week, but they've had a reminder all season in their locker room. Head coach Jason Moss put up pictures of last year's Eastern Final loss against the Ottawa Red Blacks, which had very snowy conditions. The idea behind that was to show the players that while things look good as weather and football in June, that when November rolls around, they need to have a positive mindset to get through the conditions or any of the situations they face. Now, they have faced some tough weather this season. They had extreme rain in Montreal earlier this year, and Jason Moss basically said he talked to the players and said that they need to be like the post office. Whether it's snow, sleet, or rain, they have to deliver.
Well, last year about this time they went indoors on an inclement practice day. Same kind of conditions this week. They were outside. Mike Riley to work as he hands it off to Gable off the left side, and he'll plow to the 52 and have about 5. Well, Mike Riley talked about having to look at those pictures all season long.
You look at that picture and you're like, that's so far away, I don't even care about that. But then, you know, it turns into September and then it turns into October and you're seeing it and you're like, man, that type of stuff's coming up. Like, I got to get mentally prepared for that. And, you know, this is the time where it's go big or go home. Like, you know, after this week, you don't get any more freebies. You lose, you're done.
He always goes big with the hat game, doesn't he? 2nd and 5, pressure on. Riley steps up, a couple of pumps, and he finds Fidel Hazelton. First down at the Roughrider 37.
Boy, that's the X factor for Mike Riley. I mean, just his ability to run, and it frees you on defense. Crossing route here, but it freezes you on defense with Hazelton coming all the way across the middle, finding a hole. 4 defenders around him. Riley found it.
20 yards to Hazelton. First down Eskimos, back in the hands of Gable. This time he finds a hole and crashes inside the 30. Good first down run production there. Close to
18 for 82 in the win against the Calgary Stampeders last week. Drops just below his 100-yard total of the first 2 games as an Eskimo. But when you take a look at rushing, he's over 100 yards and a touchdown per game as an Edmonton Eskimo. Great pickup by Brock Sunderland late in the season. Get ready for this playoff run.
always a good protector of the quarterback, but getting a chance to carry the football more. Double tight end formation on 2nd and less than 2. Gable will just get it as he lunges forward. AC Leonard in on the tackle, but
well, he's got to be loving it. I mean, and it was just a different mindset in Hamilton for him. I mean, he did a lot of the protection stuff, but didn't get the ball nearly as much. I mean, as an Edmonton Eskimo, he's averaging 18.3 carries per game. That's the sweet spot for running backs, in that 18 to 22 range. The tailbacks love to see the ball that much, and he's getting it in Edmonton.
5 for 21 here in the opening quarter. First and 10. Big to Gable this time, and throwing complete. Catch made by Walker. Jeff Knox Jr. there defensively.
See what establishing C.J. Gable does. Watch Enoch Mwamba right here, the middle linebacker and leading tackler for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Watch how he freezes on the play action just for a second. That freeze right there keeps Mwamba close to the line of scrimmage. He can't recover, and right over his left shoulder is where Darrell Walker makes the catch.
Just the 9th game for Walker on the season. He's over 600 yards receiving, so would have been on pace for another big year. First down, Gable inside, and he'll push the pile for a couple extra before getting driven back. Let's see where forward progress is given. Looks like they're going to mark it around the 9-yard line, so a short gain. Roughriders have been stingy in the first quarter. 23 points against in the last 11 games. Eskimos trying to put a blemish on that. Clock runs down, they get it off. 2nd and 7, and a fake to Gable. McCarty with the catch, got a ways to go. It stretches to the first down stick and should have it inside the 2.
Yeah, could get the first down without scoring. It looks like he just got there.
Big play by the 11-year vet. And so just 1 point in the opening.
Pulling with it through to the semifinal.
By the way, I'm sure the fans noticed, inspired by Sarah Orleski last night.
Yes.
Windows open here.
They are open.
And also better heaters here. And on 3rd and 1, a sneak with a flag down. Let's find out if that's the usual defensive alignment offside. McCarty came up just short. It was 3rd and less than a yard.
Saskatchewan, number 99. The penalty is declined. Play results in a touchdown.
So AC Leonard lines up offside, and it is an Eskimo touchdown.
There you go. There's the right hand of AC Leonard in the neutral zone before the snap of the ball.
10th touchdown of the year for the Eskimo quarterback, as Riley follows Justin Sorensen and the top offensive lineman Matt O'Donnell into the end zone. 8 plays and 62 yards for the Eskimos major. And here's Sean White back after 12 games on IR, and he'll put it through. And it's been kind of an adventure kicking since he left, and White hoping to solidify that position in his return.
I love you guys. I know you're watching at home. I miss you. I love you both.
I want to show you how the establishing C.J. Gable in the run game is influencing the Saskatchewan linebackers early. Watch Moncrief right here. His job is to guard basically Calvin McCarty coming out on this play. He sees the fake there and steps up in the hole to try and help in the run game to stop Gable. Gable doesn't have the ball. Moncrief now has to go and try and cover his man who's way out here in Calvin McCarty. I'll show you another long view of it so you can see how that play action fake pulls the linebacker up into the middle. Moncrief over here again. Watch as they go to the play fake. Play fake here to Gable. There's Moncrief going into the hole rather than coming outside and taking his man in Calvin McCarty, who runs to the flat and gets the first down to set up the Mike Riley touchdown.
I know we like to debate game strategy. They had a single, score a touchdown. Is that a spot where they might have gone for two and tried to make it a two-score lead? Morris with a little bobble there on the kick return, and good thought. Only able to get it out to the 25. I'm not big on automatically going for two, but it's like they had a bonus point to work with, and
yeah, with the single, you know, it is an opportunity to get to two possessions.
Maybe it was more of an opportunity to get Sean White into the game for Jason Moss.
But very, very early, obviously, and he'll take the point, and the momentum continues.
So Kevin Glenn, 3 series, 3 completions, just 35 yards. Marcus Thigpen in the backfield to start this drive, takes the handoff, and Thigpen close to 5. And a reminder, this is the first of a doubleheader. We've got the season finale, and it's an important game on the West Coast as the Argos need a win for first place. BC tried to play spoiler last week with that win over Winnipeg. Will they be able to do it again? And Marco Iannuzzi's career finale. And I wonder if it's the final game that Wally Buono will be on the sidelines. He's been very coy about his future. Second down, Kevin Glenn guns that into Caleb Hawley. A catch for Hawley and a first down for Saskatchewan.
Well, and this isn't breaking news, but I disagree with Jock Climby in the studio, who thinks that these two teams here tonight, Saskatchewan and Edmonton, would rather go through the East to get to the Grey Cup. Saw a shot there of that promo of James Wilder Jr., one of the hottest running backs in the game right now. And they've got a great front seven in Toronto as well on defense.
Team in Ottawa where he lives isn't bad either, is it?
Yeah, good football team there, and Trevor Harris playing well.
There's Thigpen. This little jump cut in the hole and ends up at the 43 yards.
Take a look at winner of this game tonight. Stay in the West and go and play Winnipeg. And the Edmonton Eskimos 0-2 against them. Saskatchewan 1-2.
You know what I found remarkable about these records is how close almost all the games were, including an overtime game involving Winnipeg and Saskatchewan. But just about all the matchups head-to-head in these possible playoff previews were decided by a touchdown or less. Thigpen out of the backfield. There's that speed that he's known for.
Yeah.
He has a first down. Thigpen put in a time of 10.34 in the 100 meters as a collegiate track star.
And if you're unsure about the 100 meters and times, that's fast. That's really fast. And this is where they can play to his strengths, which is get him the ball in space. Those little swing passes, check downs, push to the flat there. Get him out in space, let him use that speed. I'm not so sure how he'll do against, running tackle to tackle.
First down at the 48, Glenn back to pass. Here comes the heat. Down goes Glenn on the sack from John Chick. The former Saskatchewan Roughrider has sack number 72 in his career. And that one will be sweet here.
Yeah, absolutely, for John Chick. And John Chick got an extra second because watch how coming out of the backfield, Marcus Thigpen, again, looked like to me it was going to be for him, and he dropped his mouth guard, went down to catch it, caught his mouth guard as he's coming out. Watch him right in front of your screen. Look, it comes out, he catches it. Now he's not looking at Glenn, so Glenn goes off him, tries to find another receiver. Too late, he gets sacked.
Now 3-man rush and more heat on Glenn. He got to throw it away. As this time it was Philip Hunt and Armando Sewell who shot through there.
Getting pressure. That's a couple series now that Glenn's been under pressure. And when that's happened over the last month, Brandon Bridge has come in relief, and it has not been into the second half either. You go back to that Toronto game.
8 passes against the Argos. He was 1 for 3 when he was lifted against Calgary, and 7 for 14 against Montreal.
Calgary was early first quarter.
Martel end over end punt, and that one skips past Smith, who now picks it up and is immediately dropped. So we're early second quarter. Mike Riley has a touchdown, and the Eskimos have an 8-point lead. Join us at the half for the GMC Professional Grade Playbook. Tonight, Henry Burris on the impact of turnovers. And you pointed out the impact on the Roughriders season because of turnovers.
-15 to a +14. One of the big reasons they're back in the playoffs.
Duron Carter back on the hot corner. This is the deepest field position start for Edmonton so far at the 17. Handed off to Gable, and he's up to the 24 with a pickup of 7.
Good production on first down. You get to 7-8 yards on first down, the playbook opens wide open for Mike Riley. I mean, can choose any play he wants in the playbook now, even another handoff if he wants to go back to the run game.
Temperature -7, feels like -16. A wind of 33 clicks, gusting up to 50. 2nd and 3. 3-man rush, and Riley has a connection, and Gable ducks back inside for a first down.
Going over there and testing Duron Carter's side of the field. Putting CJ Gable out there is getting the running back on the underneath route and seeing if Duron Carter will come up and make a tackle. He comes up there with some help from Jeff Knox Jr.
So Gable's had 8 touches already, 7 for 29 and 1 reception. A first down on that 7-yard pickup. Riley in the pocket, crosser for Zylstra, incomplete. Javon Johnson was in coverage. The 11-year vet who has played every game this season for Roughriders.
Yeah, and he's had an all-star season. I was just looking through the all-star votes as we're about to do right now, and thinking, Javon Johnson has had an all-star season, 13 knockdowns, a couple of picks, chances for a couple of other interceptions, but anytime he's been tested, he's stepped up.
There's some good corners in the West.
Yeah,
that's a tough category. 2nd and 10. 3-man rush. They push the pocket, but Darius Bowman back to the football and has a first down catch in front of Jeff Knox Jr.
Now that's the key, Chris. He came back to the football.
Late flag, by the way. A little bit of a fracas in front of the Edmonton bench.
Coming back to the football. Those extra 2 steps. Watch Darius Bowman push up on Knox, and then that step back to the 40-yard line. Go meet the football. Don't wait for it to arrive to you. That's textbook from Darius Bowman.
After the play, major foul, unnecessary roughness, Saskatchewan, number 89. Going up 15 yards from the end of the play with an automatic first down.
Yeah, Carter got into it with Vidal Hazelton, and he draws the flag, and he's still talking to the Edmonton bench.
To be honest with you, I'm a little surprised that push to the head and the extra little shot is what caught the penalty. But when Duron Carter catches a 6-7 yard play or something and then gets up trash talking, I'm surprised he doesn't get taunting calls more often. He's got to be careful with that come playoff time.
Pushes the football across midfield down to the 53 of Saskatchewan. Riley has time underneath. Catch made, and a big stick there from Toby Antigua. who's the top rookie with the Roughriders this year.
Yeah, rookie nominee, and I think has a chance to win the award. He's become a finalist. I think he has had an outstanding rookie campaign. 5 sacks, basically playing as a regular. Started out the season rotating in to that defensive line, but I think he has a chance to win the award.
And remarkably, a year ago, he was a receiver in college. Of course, 3 different defensive ends for the Roughriders have that pedigree, former receivers. Here's Gable shaking a tackle, and he's breaking through. And past Mike Edom all the way down inside the 15-yard line.
How good has he been for this Edmonton Eskimo team?
36 yards for Gable.
Now, I mean, Jason Ma's got to just think about keeping him healthy the rest of this game tonight and get him healthy and fresh in the playoffs, because what a difference maker he has been. He was caught behind the line. He wasn't going to get the first down if that first contact was a tackle.
And back in his hands with that catch and run by Gable. Mike Riley has set a new Eskimo standard for passing yardage in a season. Just gone by Warren Moon and Ricky Ray's best seasons. Ray in 2008, Moon back in 1981.
Boy, that's select company in quarterbacks. Look at that. Ray Warren Moon. Better season than both.
Second red zone for the Eskimos. Scored on their last.
That's
little flip here. That ball's live. And smart play, Zylstra just knocks it out of bounds to avoid a disaster.
Heads up play. You have to be the last one to touch it in the Canadian Football League, going out of bounds to maintain possession. And Zylstra, rather than trying to fall on it, because you know when you fall on a football, how sometimes you think you got it locked. He's going to come out here, and it becomes a lateral because Riley has to throw it backwards. Lines up in the backfield, fake there to Gable, and now that's a live ball. Now, if you try to fall on it there, it might pop out. Willie Jefferson scoops it. Heads up play by Zylstra.
So you saw Sean White kick a convert. Now his first field goal attempt, 13 of 14 before a hamstring injury. This from 30 yards out. And the Eskimos have an 11-0 lead. Back-to-back 8-play drives for Edmonton. 1 touchdown and a White field goal to lead by 11. Fifth possession of the game, and Brandon Bridge is in relief. 7th time in the last 9 games that has happened. And Suits, as you mentioned earlier, in each of the last 3 wins, he's come in relief of Kevin Glenn.
In the Montreal game, it was sort of mop-up time. Kevin Glenn had the lead there. That was a 37-12 win. But against Toronto, he came in down 10. Brought the team back, and against Calgary, 37 win there and relieved Glenn in that one.
So let's see if he can change the momentum. This has been the story, and that's why. And that's almost picked up. Archie Colhoun unable to bring it in, but Chris Jones has mentioned he's made this decision when there's been heavy pressure on Glenn, and it continues here.
Contact, Edmonton, number 36. It's a 10-yard penalty, and will result
Well, they're going to move it anyway on an illegal contact on Aaron Grimes.
So a break there for the Roughriders. They get a fresh set of downs. We're not sure Bridge ever had a chance to look downfield to find a receiver. That's an offside. Barry Grant crossed the line of scrimmage. He doesn't think he broke the plane.
Well, he did, but he's saying he got back. He wants to say he got back, but there was movement after he was well across the line.
Offside, Saskatchewan, number 81. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
You can't stop in the neutral zone and then restart. That's offside. Saskatchewan, good call by the official. It'll be 1st and 15. He'd like a big game because of what happened to Bakari Grant in the last one.
And he says that will never happen again. Chad Owens takes that swing pass. Short yardage there for Owens, and it's going to be, well, he got back to the line of scrimmage, the original line of scrimmage, 2nd and 10. It's called 2nd and 11 as the ball is spotted at the 44. Jones showed blitz, backs off, and here's Bridge straight ahead. Brandon Bridge, first down. That's the mobility he brings to the table and moves the chains.
Yeah, run lane in the middle, big wide splits up front. These splits here, what I mean by splits is the 2 defensive tackles, Amondo Sewell inside and Euclid Cummings wide open there before the ball was even snapped. So as soon as Sewell takes an outside release on Labatt, that running lane is there.
That ball deflected and falls incomplete. In the neighborhood was Johnny Adams. And it will be 2nd and 10.
Brandon Bridge can beat a pass rush with his legs. And that's what he did on that last play when he retreated and Aaron Grimes got the illegal contact penalty. That's what he did.
John Chick with the deflection there. Has a sack in this first half. 2nd and 10, and here comes pressure.
Yep.
Bridge stands in, throws, he's got Grant. First down inside the 25. And a flag down, and was that a late hit by Aaron Grimes? Brandon Bridge took a hit to make the play.
Boy, great toughness and courage by
Major
Brandon
foul,
Bridge.
roughing the passer. Edmonton, number 36. Going to go off half distance to the goal at the end of this one.
Yeah.
First down.
And this is a good call. I mean, this is Aaron Grimes following through. Now, I'm not sure if he knew that the ball was thrown, but he must have. There's a double blitz coming off that edge. Aaron Grimes, Adam Konar. Grimes gets there, he hits, and it's that extra turn and twist to pull him to the ground that's going to get him the penalty. But Brandon Bridge hanging in there, taking the hit, delivering the mail.
Couple of penalties for Grimes on the series, and now the Riders in the red zone first time. Bridge out of the backfield, Thigpen, touchdown. Marcus Thigpen, and Brandon Bridge generates a touchdown drive on his first series of the game.
Went over to celebrate first with Rob Bagg, and then all the way over to Marcus Thigpen. This push to the flat, we've seen it a couple of times tonight already from Marcus Thigpen. Smart play by Duron Carter to not get a clipping call or a late hit there. He saw Thigpen had the edge. Across the plane, touchdown Saskatchewan.
So the first Saskatchewan touchdown for Marcus Thigpen, who was here briefly in 2009. But there is an injured Rough Rider on the play, and it's Brendan Labatt, their top offensive lineman. So a muted celebration because of the Labatt situation. We'll step aside while he gets attention.
Chad Owens gets an assist on the Marcus Thigpen touchdown. Watch Owens come inside here, and he just sets a little bit of a pick on Adam Konar, has to bubble around it to try and get to his man, Marcus Thigpen. Thigpen number 8 out to the flat. Konar hesitates, can't get there, and Thigpen scores. That's an assist to Chad Owens. Watch Owens come down and pick on Adam Konar here. Just sort of shakes in the, makes it look subtle, and Konar hesitates, can't get to his man.
Boy, this is not a good look, though, for Labatt as he gets help to the sidelines. Thigpen celebrating the touchdown, but no weight on the left leg for the 10-year vet, Brendan Labatt.
Peter Diakowski was engaged, and his man fell into the legs of Labatt.
Krapina for the extra point. Eskimos jump offside, and the convert is good.
Oh,
and now another flag comes down. I think they'll whistle stop play, so they will have to re-kick here. And Grimes in the middle of it again. And the cart for the All-Star guard. Played every game this season. And that would be a crushing loss for the Roughriders.
No question.
In more ways than one. Top offensive lineman, a key member ratio-wise.
Offside, Edmonton, number 17. Major foul, unnecessary roughness. Edmonton, number 94. Both these penalties are going to be applied on the kickoff.
So Cummings with the roughing penalty after the offside against Colquhoun.
Caught it with your foot.
And they'll re-kick it as the whistle halted play before Krapina made the first attempt. Puts this one straight down the middle. It's 11-7 in favor of Edmonton. Let's join Lee Jones with more on Marcus Thigpen, the man who scored the touchdown for Saskatchewan.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. You mentioned he was with the Riders late in 2009. In 2010, he went to training camp and actually didn't win the job as a returner. Lost out to Dominic Dorsey, and as a result, he ended up getting a chance at Hamilton. Had 2 great seasons there before he went to the NFL. Now, he's playing running back tonight. He actually hasn't played that position as his main position in about 5 to 6 years. And we asked him, how difficult it would be to get back into it. And he said, you know what, it's kind of like just riding a bike. Now, Kevin Glenn, of course, was in a quarterback earlier. He played with Thigpen in Hamilton for a couple of years. He says that it didn't take long to get the chemistry going with Thigpen. He just has that explosiveness that you can read what he's about to do. And Chris Jones, by the way, at practice said Thigpen was the fastest player this week in practice, so it hasn't taken him long to kind of show what he could do with his Rider club.
Might be the fastest anyway, but fresh legs late in the season. 5 touches, 11 rushing yards, 31 receiving yards, and the touchdown for Marcus Thigpen. And by the way, the Roughriders also added former Eskimo running back Shakir Bell this week to add a little more depth. After the penalties, the kickoff will come from midfield. So a chance to pin the Eskimos with Jamil Smith back.
See Thigpen over there talking to Chad Owens about that nice little rub he put on Adam Konar.
And will he kick it through? The one mistake is to do just that.
Yeah.
Got to keep it in play. So no point. And the ball will come out to the 25. Mike Riley's start tonight. The last 2 offensive series for Edmonton have generated points on 8 play drives.
10 to 12, nice completion percentage for Mike Riley. But all of a sudden it's a game. Brandon Bridge coming off the bench with a touchdown drive.
Casey Rogers has been alternating at corner with Jerron Carter. He's back in the game. On the hot corner, Terrell Walker, and they'll come back the other way with Riley, and that might have been a busted play too, and Rogers steps up to make the tackle on the Eskimo quarterback. So we've hit the 3-minute warning here. The Roughriders get on the board and have closed up the Eskimo lead to 4 late first half.
3 minutes to halftime. Coming up, we'll talk about how Chris Jones continues to use 2 quarterbacks depending on how much pressure there is on Kevin Glenn. Also, we'll look at the later game. Toronto at BC, last game of the season as the Argos try to wrap up first place in the East and the bye to the Eastern Final. Back to CC and Suits.
Loser of this game goes east. Not sure if it will be to Toronto or the nation's capital. 2nd and 6 here for Riley. And guns it for Walker. Flag on the play as Walker has a catch at midfield. Did he push off? Let's find out. Also a flag in the secondary, or in the offensive backfield.
That may be a holding. Four-man pressure from Saskatchewan, and it was Matt O'Donnell was
Well, there's also a penalty at
Holding, Edmonton, number 66. Pass interference, Saskatchewan, number 45. These pounds will offset. Replay the down.
So they'll replay the down. Offsetting penalties, a holding on Matt O'Donnell, and Casey Rogers.
But it does take a 26-yard play off the board. And it's 2nd and 6 once again. Riley on a roll. In pursuit, Jefferson. Riley will run for the first down.
Mike Riley is now the leading rusher for the Edmonton Eskimos. Again, I mentioned that he's a leading rusher due to the injuries to the tailback position, but back in 2013 he rushed for 709 yards. That led the Eskimos that year as well. He was the most recent quarterback to lead his team in rushing. And you have to go back to 2003, Nealon Green in Saskatchewan, and Green again in 2000 in Edmonton. Since the year 2000, only 2 quarterbacks to lead their team in rushing. And he gets a new set of downs.
Wide side of the field and overthrows Darrell Walker, watched by Javon Johnson. Be 2nd and 10.
Interesting to see here what Chris Jones dials up defensively. He's really mixed it up in the back half of the season. It's first half, it was all 3-man pressure in these situations, making a quarterback throw it underneath that kind of coverage, that blanket coverage, and then rallying to the tackle. But more recently, he's sent blitz. See what he dials up here.
Short drop, slant, Hazelton catch, first down across the 50.
Went to 3-man. Goes to 3-man, and the underneath route from Vidal Hazelton. He's the one receiver there outside. There's number 2 in Zylstra, and full run here, but he's going to just cut underneath that blanket coverage and then slice his way up to get the extra 2.
11th first down of the game, and C.J. Gable straight ahead. Mwamba grabs him and tosses him down at midfield. That's 4 more for C.J. Gable.
.100 defensive plays on the season for Enoch Mwamba.
Top Canadian for the Roughriders, had a good season. 8th in the league in tackles coming in. This his 50th career game start. Playing against his brother today, Koshi on the other side. 4-man rush. And underneath, they were looking for Gable. Jeff Knox was there defensively. And no flag. So it'll be 3rd down.
I'm not sure Gable, I think Gable thought that Mike Riley was going to run, and he didn't kind of look to become an outlet receiver. I think Jason Moss is trying to look at the replay up here on the big screen to see where that play broke down. But Gable went to block Jeff Knox Jr. Didn't know the ball was thrown to him.
O'Neill with a kick that is fielded well by Christian Jones, and he'll step out at the 16-yard line. So 1:29 remaining in this first half, and a 4-point Eskimo lead. And Brandon Bridge back to work after a terrific first series, 7 plays, 75 yards in 2 minutes and 19 seconds.
See how they replace Brendan Labatt here on the O-line, Chris.
Bladdock comes in.
Bladdock in right now at guard, and see moving forward. I know Derek Dennis close to returning to the lineup from injury.
Guns that inside, and it's incomplete, intended for Owens.
Let's show you what happened to Brendan Labatt one more time. I mean, there he is right there at guard. I want to show you Diakowski too. Diakowski is engaged with Bowers here, and as they go kind of down the line of scrimmage, Bowers is going to roll into, Diakowski kind of pushes him down to the ground, and he rolls into the legs of Brendan Labatt.
Second and 10. And that one for Owens is caught at the 35. Grimes the tackle. Those last two throws by Bridge really shows you the fastball he has.
Well, he has a different style of throwing motion. It really is a unique throwing motion. But man, he can throw that football. He puts that right on a line. Great reaction too by Chad Owens.
First down, a little bit of pressure. Runs out of the pocket, deep for Bag, and missed him by a couple of strides. But with that arm, there's no throw he can't make, is there?
No, absolutely not. I mean, he throws the wide side out. But that Owens catch too. I mean, Owens makes it look easy. I mean, that ball was thrown to the inside shoulder, and that's where Grimes was coming from. Chad Owens flips his body around and makes the catch, but that was a laser to him.
So in 2 series, Brandon Bridge has passed for 64 yards. Kevin Glenn had 63 yards passing. In his stint, 2nd and 10, and there's Bag on the slant pattern at the 45-yard line. He's going to be a yard short of the first down.
Saskatchewan has been 17 of 17 in 3rd and short. They're going to just leave Bridge in there and not. They usually bring in Vernon Adams in this situation.
First catch of the evening for Rob Bag. So the big guys hunkered down. They need a yard. Bridge off the left side. And this will be interesting.
They moved that spot to the beyond the.
Had to get to the 46.
I was going to say it is interesting. It's closer than I originally thought.
That's going to require a measurement, you would think. And it's a chain link or two, either there or short. And this may turn out to be a pivotal play in the first half. Only once have they turned it over on downs this year, just by the nose of the ball.
Let's take another look. It was close. It took Brandon Bridge a second to get started. It was a low snap.
Pressure, he ducks under it, steps up, and he'll get hauled down around the 48. Got a couple. John Chick, another tackle. He has had a good first half here in another return to Mosaic.
Mike Benavides, defensive coordinator, assistant head coach for the Edmonton Eskimos, doing a nice job over the last 4 or 5 weeks to shore up the run defense.
Goes to a 3-man front, extra DB over the middle. Incomplete. Neil King was on the scene and slow to get up was the intended target on the play. Like Chad Owens.
Take another look. Yeah, Neil King came down out of the safety spot and jumped it. That ball tipped by Adam Konar.
And that's why the contact on the intended receiver was okay, because the ball had been deflected.
You saw what Brandon Bridge saw though from that shot. That was an interesting shot because he couldn't see Adam Konar.
So under a half-minute remaining, and Bartel to punt. That's off the side of his foot, not deep. And Jamil Smith scoops it up, and flag comes down as he brings it up to the 39-yard line. Just a 29-yard punt, which might give Jason Moss an option here with 17 seconds to go. A reminder, second half of our doubleheader tonight. Shaw Road to the Grey Cup continues from BC Place. It's the Argos trying to nail down first in the East against the BC Lions. Our coverage gets underway 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific across the TSN network. So the officials conferring on this penalty on the return.
I'm going to make a suggestion that the head coaches get.
Yeah, they can wear coats.
They can get jackets.
They're trying to one up the Mike O'Shea grease board message that the weather was fine.
Yeah, it's not cold enough. But that look on Jason Moss is, I mean, he's got the hoodie on. He looks like he's okay. Like, but Chris Jones looks cold.
We're getting worried about him.
He needs to
No yards.
get the parka.
Saskatchewan. Major foul, face mask, Saskatchewan. Both these penalties are going to be applied. Up 20 yards, first down.
Wow.
So there was the 5-yard no yards and a 15-yarder, and now they're within a play of field goal range for Sean White. So the ball now down to the Rough Rider 51.
And we're going to have difficulty trying to find those penalties when there's no numbers called, but
no time for a couple plays, and really only needing 10 yards or so to get into White range. 5 receivers set from the pocket that's collapsing. Riley now underneath, and Gable avoids the big hit from Preston Butler, brought down by Enoch Mwamba at around the 42-yard line. 7 seconds to go, and they'll line up for one more play.
be quick here.
Yeah, they do have to be quick. They might not be quick enough, as Walker's got it, and there's zeros on the clock.
Expired.
I think that's the half. It is. So they're not going to get a chance to line up. They could have lined up for a 49-yard attempt, tried to get one more play in, and ran out of time.
And C.J. Gable got up limping after that last play. Take a look, the clock in the left corner of your screen. C.J. Gable steps up, he gets hit low.
Now Walker could have gone down right there.
Yeah, he had to get down on that first contact from Casey Rogers, and the time expires.
Didn't have to get out of bounds to stop the clock.
No, just had to go down. C.J. Gable got hit kind of low and was limping to the locker room.
That's the other issue. So a hard-fought open.
Thigpen was used more as a receiver in the second quarter, and then Bridge said when he gets man-to-man, you're not accounting for the quarterback, so he wants to maybe take off and run a little bit more.
C.J. Gable has returned for duty in the second half after limping off in the first half. Don't expect to see Brendan Labatt again tonight. Again, winner of this game heads to Winnipeg. The loser will go east, either to Ottawa or Toronto. Second half underway. Jamil Smith is dragged down just beyond the 30, and a flag down on that return. It looked like a horse collar tackle on the play.
Well, look at his jersey. His jersey tells it all.
And the newcomer Taylor Mays, in his first game with the Rough Riders, draws the flag. Rookie out of USC.
And gets a little talking to by Craig Dickinson, saying you can't touch anywhere in this nameplate area.
Major foul, horse collar tackle. Saskatchewan number 25. 15 yards at the end of the play, automatic, first down.
Yeah, there's no question about it. And Mays thought he just grabbed jersey, but it doesn't matter. It's the jersey counts. That's still a horse collar, even though it's by the jersey, not by the shoulder pads.
And even above the nameplate in that case, so not much doubt about it. Good field position to start this second half for Mike Riley and company. Riley looking downfield, going to take an early shot for Bowman, and he's got it. Darius Bowman brings it in a battle against Javon Johnson.
And that's the first catch for Darius Bowman over 30 yards. We mentioned that he's come back, and 2 games ago against BC had the 100-yard game, 2 touchdowns last week in the win against the Calgary Stampeders, but he had yet to have a catch over 30 yards. Well, he does now, and he's up against Javon Johnson, the veteran.
Just put Bowman over 9,000 career receiving yards and puts Edmonton into the red zone. 3rd time tonight. Gable straight ahead, and C.J. Gable crashes to the 15 and beyond.
Go back to that. Sorry, Chris. Go back to that catch by Darius Bowman, and good receivers will often do this. They'll play like a rebounder in basketball and block out the defender from getting around him to the football, and that's exactly what Darius Bowman does there.
That was a bit of an adventure, and Bowman signaled that after all that juggling, he did have control. He's just short of passing Jason Tucker to get into the top 5 in Edmonton all-time receiving. Looks one way, Riley doesn't find anything, he goes the other, and the pass is caught by Corey Watson, and it will be short of the first down at the 17, or the 13, excuse me.
It's been an area where Edmonton has improved over the last few games. They about 53% in the red zone, converting to touchdowns. And in the last 3, they've got that up to almost 70. They've been 8 for 12, so they've been better inside the 20. Important when you're heading into the playoffs to finish drives. Didn't get it done here.
Roughrider defense number 3 in the red zone this year. John White, short boot, puts it through, and it's a 7-point Edmonton lead as they get a field goal on their first possession of the second half. Want to send out best wishes to Jennifer Boyukas, the wife of our director Andy Boyukas, an emergency appendectomy yesterday. So Andy, who would normally be here, is back in Newmarket with his wife, and he apparently is preparing for a birthday party for 20 girls under the age of 5. So never a good time to be in hospital, Jen, but
yeah, we're thinking about you.
Not a bad time.
Speedy recovery, and leave Andy to handle that. He can direct the party.
And Dawn Landis is directing our game for us. Great to have her here in Andy's stead. Here's Rob Bagg with a catch and cut down at the 45-yard line. It's a first down grab, second catch of the game for Bagg up against Arjun Colquhoun.
32 catches on the season for Rob Bagg. Not a monster year for Bagg, but he's the type of guy can be the unsung hero in a playoff game. Be a 100-yard receiver in a heartbeat in a playoff game.
Character leadership in the room. One of the things that Chris Jones has talked about has improved this year. Keenan LaFrance on the run, stood up there by Grimes and doesn't want to go down, and they'll give him forward progress at the 50.
Love that halftime interview with Elmondo Sewell. He's just had it. Like, he's just, those big guys up front, they go, you know, our guy's gonna just pick it and take it to the house. He's messing around like he's in the playground back there.
This is no playground.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. But Brandon Bridge can do that. I mean, he can create when it looks like it's the pocket is collapsing.
Sewell sacks in 5 of the last 6 games. Bridge
good
throws another rope to Bagg.
Good throw in the hole, long throw, and he has to get it right to Bagg and throw it and throw bag open, basically. These ones to me are tougher than just like the deep ball down the rail or that seam route we see quite often. Those to try and get them in a small window are tough throws to get there. The timing's got to be right. The accuracy's got to be there. That's a good one for Bridge.
11 on the pickup for Bag. Bridge 7 for 11, 94 yards, and back in the hands of LaFrance. Spun around and dropped at the 47, so a pickup of 3. Ladler moving up to help make the stop.
Interesting that Jason Moss had those pictures of the Eastern semifinal over there in Ottawa. The Edmonton Eskimos and Keenan LaFrance.
I was going to say, he'd be on the wall.
Yeah, he must have been in a couple of those shots. Good idea, though, from Jason Moss, just reminding the team about preparing themselves mentally for when the weather changes and it matters most.
No throws Durant Carter's way yet. Let's see if Bridge changes that. Rolling, looking downfield, and escaping that lunge, and running out of bounds at the 39. And that is right at the first down stick for Brandon Bridge.
Different speed, tremendous runner, great athlete with speed to the outside. I mean, it looked like he was caught. And then he just put it in another gear here. Gets outside, and now he's still looking downfield, and he's got to beat Quan Bowers, and does.
So 4th rush of the game for Bridge, 24 yards, and another first down. Offense has been different with him. A pitch this time to the speedy Thigpen. Trying to turn the corner. He spun out of trouble there and ended up with yards when it looked like he might lose.
Yeah, his forte is not going to be running between the tackles, and the Riders have quickly figured that out, either in the quick passing game, using Marcus Thigpen out in the flat, or in that quick toss. Get him out in speed. Nice spin move to break that first tackle by Kenny Ladler.
Brought down by Corey Jones, but 5 yards on the gain, 2nd and 5. Grant stays in to block. Another long pass for Rob Bag, and another first down for Saskatchewan.
It's interesting to me that, you know, Brandon Bridge throws that little swing pass in the first half to Marcus Thigpen for a touchdown, and runs to the opposite side end zone corner to celebrate with Rob Bag. In this second half, Rob Bag's made 3 catches. Some chemistry there between Brandon Bridge and the veteran Rob Bag.
4 first downs on the drive for the Roughriders. First down at the Edmonton 27. Here comes pressure. Bridge stands in. Got an open receiver. Chad Owens at the 10. And they really was not down. So he advances it to the 8-yard line. 1st and goal, Saskatchewan.
By Brandon Bridge, you know, he knows pressure's coming and the blitz is coming. You're right, Chris, but watch how he just buys himself some time. Little pocket management here. Slide away from that pressure. He knows he's got corner. He's got one coming off the edge, so he slides back into the middle to give himself enough time to get it to Chad Owens. Aaron Grimes coming on this blitz again from the bottom. He's got good speed. He feels it. A little shuffle step off that hash mark allows him to complete the pass.
Just got it away in the nick of time. 1st and goal. It's Thigpen. Touchdown. What a burst out of the blocks into the end zone. Eight for number 8 and a touchdown for Saskatchewan.
The fact that Brandon Bridge is such a great runner opens up the middle on this play for Marcus Thigpen. Quan Bowers is caught between a rock and a hard place, or between a Bridge and a Thigpen, because he can't make the right decision. If he goes one way, Bridge keeps. If he goes the other way, Bridge gives to Marcus Thigpen.
Oh, a little bobble here. And they'll try to drop kick it through. That won't work.
And he can run it back.
Jamil Smith can try and run it back for 2. And he stays in bounds. It's still alive. And now down. And a late hit there at the end of it by Spencer Moore. No flag on that, but a response from some of the Eskimos. Nevertheless, they failed the convert attempt, and it's still an Edmonton lead, but Brandon Bridge and Marcus Thigpen have got the Roughriders within a point.
Take you back to that Marcus Thigpen touchdown and how Bowers is in a rock and a hard place here. He's got to either go up the field or squeeze it down. He can't do both. And if he chooses one way, then Brandon Bridge pulls it. The threat of Bridge there keeps him high and doesn't allow him to squeeze down this hole and get to Marcus Thigpen. Daquan Bowers couldn't make the right decision there.
Eskimos start at midfield, a fake to Gable, and it's Fidel Hazelton with a first down, and he'll step out at the Roughrider 43-yard line. So the costly penalty against Spencer Moore. Good return by Jamil Smith. One reception by Hazelton, and they're into Saskatchewan territory.
Chris Edwards was the #1 returner for Edmonton before Jamil Smith, but he got hurt. Jamil Smith comes in. I'd say he and CJ Gable, 2 great adds to the roster for Edmonton.
Mike Riley, 230 yards passing. Durant Carter back on the corner. And a handoff towards him. Gable lost his footing and will be dropped for a loss. They wanted to run towards him, but Antonio Longino was in the neighborhood too.
Yeah, and you know what? He did the right thing. Durant Carter on that play has got to step up and turn everything inside. He doesn't even need to make the tackle here. He just needs to turn the play back inside, because that's where pursuit is coming. The outside leverage man, in this case the corner, and Carter has got to make Gable turn it upfield. He did exactly that, and they catch him for a loss.
So 2nd and 13. Short drop, a pump. Nobody home. Reversing field again, and finally throws it away. Incomplete. McHenry was there. A couple of Roughriders were applying the heat. And Riley finally just threw it into the turf.
I think Mike Riley wanted to go to the short side of the field here. Right now, Durant Carter and Ed Gainey are in constant communication before the snap of the ball, and they covered down that short side, and that got Mike Riley in trouble.
AC Leonard with the hit. Be a spot on the field where they might try something. Like they have one man on side. It's Aaron Grimes as the ball is lined out inside the 15. So the Eskimos unable to put points on the board with the field position, but back the Roughriders up. Well, mic'd up players to behind the scenes action. It's CFL Wired.
Oh, you was gonna hit me?
I was gonna hit you.
Bro, you ain't nobody I'm worried about, bro. I watched plenty of film on you. Hey, what a touchdown ball.
I look fast. I look fast.
Woo! What a run.
Wednesday at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific on TSN 3 and 5. So another deep field position start for Saskatchewan. Last 3 starts for the Roughriders at their 16, 35, and now the 14-yard line. A look at the numbers for the defensive nominee, Kenny Landler, #4 in defensive points on the season. Big pen fake to him, and another pass to Rob Bagg, who has benefited from the strong arm of Brandon Bridge in the game here since the late first quarter. First down up at the 27. Now the ball swung to Bakari Grant. He's cut down on the play by Johnny Adams on the corner. And it's a gain of 3 at the 30. Having some audio issues. Are you on again?
Oh, we're not. We're back. We're
back.
We're back and forth, I think.
Second and 7, Roughriders. Here comes pressure. Bridge in trouble. And he gets away from John Chick. Now looks downfield. Lets it fly. Up for grabs. And it's caught. What a play to Caleb Hawley as Brandon Bridge pulls another big play out of a desperado.
No question here, Chris. I mean, this is just, as Armando Sewell said at halftime, this is just making it up like you're on the playground. He tries to first escape to his right into the boundary, can't find it there, thrown against the flow, thrown against running to the left and throwing back across the body. That's very difficult to do, to try and open up like that, and he gets it to Caleb Hawley.
A little bit of Doug Flutie in all of that. What a play. 26 yards of first down, and now Thigpen. Boy, you just see the quick acceleration from Thigpen every time he takes a handoff.
Well, and I see the defensive line for Edmonton so worried about Bridge that they're opening up some running lanes. I mean, just take a look up front of these guys. As Bridge has the ball in his hands, they want to keep their eyes on 16.
Second and short, Bridge off the left side. Didn't need much, but got enough for another first down. Should be the 21st first down for Saskatchewan, who were slow out of the gate in that department, but Bridge has been moving the chains, although we will require a measurement here. You know what, we've talked about this a few times this year, and this continues. Just short, third down by a couple of chain links. The question has to be asked, who's going to start for Saskatchewan next week?
I think Chris Jones sticks with exactly what he's been doing, and the 3 wins in the last 4 weeks started with Kevin Glenn, and they've gone quickly if necessary to Brandon Bridge. I don't think he's going to change that formula.
Statistician John Russin telling me that Bridge has completed his last 9, and he had trouble with that handoff and didn't get much. Again, only a few chain links needed, but had some trouble with that snap from center. And we might require another measurement. Had to get just short of that yard marker. He's in trouble right there, but that surge should be enough, and it is a first down. That was a little more difficult than it had to be. Now back to Thigpen, and this time the hole is closed. He bounced off first contact, but ended up losing a few more yards on the play as Forrest Hightower steps up to finish him off.
Watch Chris for Bridge next time to pull the ball from Thigpen and get outside. That's the progression to this play. This is the zone read, and watch. Now the next step, as soon as they start pinching on the D line like that, the next step is for Bridge to pull it and get outside.
Got away from Konar, but then Jones and Hightower finish him off. And I think they're discussing where that ball should be placed. It will be a loss of a couple. And 2nd and 12.
Don't need the first down to get into makeable field goal range here.
Kind of felt like a playoff game tonight. Good battle between these two teams. Bridge looking for Carter and nearly intercepted. Oh, he was on the case. Aaron Grimes sizing up a possible interception. And Duron Carter through 3 quarters without a catch here tonight. Spent some time on the corner as well. Good 3rd quarter for the Roughriders. A touchdown for Thigpen. He has 2 in the game. They missed the convert, but that's the difference.
To lead the team to a win, he says, Kevin Glenn's my starter next week. He does it every time. And for the record, Kevin Glenn and Bridge are great friends. They work well together, and they're managing this system very well.
Just seems like worth discussing because Bridge appears to be getting better by the week.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And you know, the argument that people will have that are on the start Bridge bandwagon is that why take any snaps away from the guy who's playing so well? You know, if he can get the first 2 series and maybe get the team up and get them in front and in a lead, then the opposition is chasing. And I get that. But then he's got the pressure of being the starter on him all week long, all the questions from the media. I'm not saying Bridge can't handle that, but that's got to be one of the reasons. Kevin Glenn has also played well, especially here at Mosaic this year at times.
Eskimo offense quiet in the 3rd quarter. Trying to get ignited again. A deep throw here, and he's got Brandon Zylstra at the Roughrider 40-yard line.
Brandon Zylstra went and got this one. Nothing fancy about it, but Zylstra had to go and track this ball and run it down. Well, he did do the double move. It was just beyond my first shot of it. But he does the double move, gets it behind, then he's got to track it down and go get the football.
40 for Zylstra, 2nd catch, 67 yards. And the Eskimos first down at the Roughrider 41. Bowman in motion. Now, fake to Gable. It's Hazelton on the sidelines. A good collision there as he just tracked Javon Johnson. And Johnson's in some difficulty.
Yeah. Boy, he surprised Javon Johnson.
Hazelton 212, Johnson 180, and Hazelton got the better of that collision.
Well, I think it's a corner. You just expect the receiver at this point to go and hit for the sideline and run out of bounds. And Vidal Hazelton lowered his shoulder. That's just a football play. That's not a dirty hit by any stretch of the imagination. It's just, I think it just surprised Javon Johnson.
So Johnson continues to get attention, and that will have to bring Duron Carter back into the game at corner, you would think. He's been replacing Casey Rogers on and off throughout the night, but Carter will have to come in on the other corner now, or Javon Johnson continues to get attention, so we'll step aside for a moment and be right back to Mosaic. The CFL on TSN is brought to you by the 2017 GMC Sierra Elevation Edition. Get noticed like a pro. Mike Riley up to 280 yards passing now. And the Eskimos with a 2nd and 1. They ruled that Hazelton was out of bounds just short of the first down at the 31-yard line.
So they moved Casey Rogers to the wide side to replace Javon Johnson, and now, as you mentioned, have Duron Carter back in the short side corner.
Riley, good surge there behind last year Western All-Star center Justin Sorensen, and again O'Donnell for a first down. No catches today in a game where he has kind of split his duty on offense and defense. Duron Carter. I think he's been obviously a better defensive player today than on the offensive side, where he's without a catch.
You break the huddle. He is in constant conversation with Ed Gainey, and that's a good thing. That's a guy with 10 interceptions, that short side halfback spot. Carter down there at the bottom was talking to Gainey almost all the time.
He has made 4 tackles. Corey Watson was on the move. And a fake to Gable. They'll dump it off. Here's Hazelton. Little stumble, but gets up and tried to lower his shoulder again. That time on Carter, who has a word or two with him.
That's the example that I would give. I mean, you get into a playoff game and there's such a fine line. You don't want to ever put it in the hands of the official to call you for a taunting penalty at the wrong time in a game. And you know, when Carter makes a play, as good as he's been this year, and he's their nominee for outstanding player, but he'll often get up and be talking trash immediately. And just want to take a penalty at the wrong time for that.
Second, and we'll call it 2.5. Drive started on the Edmonton 29. Gable ahead. That's a first down run, and C.J. Gable with a lunge at the end of it to land around the 11-yard line. Moncrief the tackle for the Roughriders, but the Eskimos with their best drive of the second half.
So many weapons, so many choices. I mean, C.J. Gable. I just saw Darius Bowman go into the boundary to go one-on-one on this running play with Carter. That was just another formation. Brandon Zylstra's played that 3 spot, the 2 spot, and wide receiver.
And we joked about Hazelton being Ringo last week, but he's really carved out an important niche in this offense too.
Yeah, no question.
First and 10. Fake to Gable, now underneath for McCarty, and a big play there by the top defensive player of the Roughriders, Ed Gainey.
Well, and here's another reason why I like the nomination. And yeah, you know, we talked about it last game. Well, Willie Jefferson deserved it too, but Ed Gainey also leads the entire secondary in defensive tackles. He has over 60 on the season. I mean, he gets up and involved in run stopping as well. So 10 interceptions, 7 knockdowns, 64 tackles.
You did a better sales job than I did last week. Second and 9. Eskimos 2 for 3 in the red zone here tonight. Looking end zone. Looking for Hazelton. Pass interference is the call. Moncrief was there defensively. And who's it going to be against?
That's a good question, because it looked like both Hazelton and Moncrief were fighting for the football. Both have equal right
Pass
to it.
interference, Saskatchewan, number 42. Penalty occurred in goal. Ball will be placed on the 1-yard line. Automatic first down.
So first and goal at the 1.
Let's see if we can identify Derek Moncrief here. Right there.
And will this be challenged? Challenge flag has come out by Chris Jones.
Eleven challenges so far for Chris Jones this season. He's won 5 of them.
This penalty had been upgraded from illegal contact to defensive pass interference. This information wasn't known by the Saskatchewan coach. Once he realized this, he no longer wants to challenge. We'll allow him to retain his challenge.
Saw Murray Clark actually tell Chris Jones that, and a good explanation too.
Yeah, well done by the officials there to explain exactly what happened. This was illegal contact earlier in the play that turns into pass interference because the ball is thrown to Vidal Hazelton. but the illegal contact was the penalty call. So that part of the play was not a penalty. That's not what they called. They called it earlier illegal contact, probably as he was coming off the line of scrimmage. But it was upgraded because the ball was thrown to him. A good explanation by the official, and gives Chris Jones his challenge back.
First and goal. Walker signaled to line up on this near side. Riley straight ahead, and he's in again. Second touchdown. There is a flag in the back of the end zone, so that wouldn't be offside. And there's going to be more flags after all this. Riley in the middle of it.
It's playoff time. It's get
too many men. Saskatchewan. The penalty be declined. Play results in a touchdown.
Too many men and couldn't stop it. Riley just digging. I mean, he wants to do short yardage. Mike Riley wants to do short yardage. He doesn't want to bring in the backup or anything like that. I know a lot of teams do that, but look at him dig, just churn those legs and bowl his way behind his O-line, just fighting and clawing to get that ball across the plane. I mean, I know I go on sometimes maybe too much about how great a leader he is, but I'll tell you what, man, he goes out there and battles.
More flags thrown at the end of that little fracas. Let's find out how they've ruled that.
After the play, major foul, unnecessary roughness, Saskatchewan, number 49. That penalty is going to be applied on the kickoff.
So against Jeff Knox Jr. And now they'll look to kick the convert to make it an 8-point lead. And maybe the same question I asked in the first quarter, is this a spot where you might go for 2 and make it 9? Not in Jason Moss's eyes with 10 minutes to go.
I might do that.
Get one, and it is the Eskimos by 8. Mike Riley grinding again. 2 touchdowns in the game, short yardage, and now 11 for the year as the Eskimos up the lead. Reminder, the second half of our doubleheader on the Shaw Road to the Grey Cup comes your way next following the conclusion of this game. Argonauts trying to clinch first in the East against the BC Lions, trying to play spoiler for a second consecutive week. 8 plays, 81 yards, 423 in the best possession of the second half for Edmonton. Kickoff by O'Neill, and is Greg Morris at his 10. Morris fumble the football. Edmonton's on it. Eskimos get it back just beyond the 25. Still no indication for the official now.
There you go.
But it was James Tuck who knocked it loose, and you could see that the Eskimos got there first.
Boy, Jason Moss loves that play of his special teams and the big hit on this return.
There's Tuck with a hit that knocks the ball loose, and who gets on it? Looks like Corey Watson got on the football first. So the 5th-year man on York makes a big play. And Watson with the recovery. And that's been an improved part of this team tonight. On special teams, they've had good returns, and now a big play by the cover guys who don't get much love. Oh, first down Edmonton at the Roughrider 27. Fake to Gable, swing it to Zylstra. And tackle there by Ed Gainey. Well, we've seen Mike Riley score twice tonight. Chris Jones with plenty of respect for the opposing quarterback.
He's just a warrior, you know. I mean, if they need him to run for a first down, or, you know, they need him to get 2 yards on a 3rd and 2, you know, situation, I mean, he'll get it by, you know, 1/8 of a yard, you know. I mean, he's a tremendous competitor, and again, he's a big reason that they're in the position they're in.
Knows at first hand in 2015.
Yep.
Riley Jones and the Eskimos won the final 8 regular season games and then 2 in the postseason to win the cup. Eskimos trying to duplicate that script. There's a pass. Incomplete, in and out of the hands of Bowman with a flag down in the Eskimo backfield.
He had been coming back anyway. Bowman looked like he jumped. He didn't have to jump there.
No, it's going against Saskatchewan.
Oh, it is.
Illegal block, hands to the face. Saskatchewan, number 74. 10-yard penalty, becomes first down.
Mac Henry, and you've already mentioned it, the penalties becoming an issue here for Saskatchewan.
Yeah, back-to-back games, really. I mean, the Saskatchewan Roughriders have got a couple of those penalties that, you know, are after the whistle penalties that extend drives. There's Mac Henry, hands up in the chin, the offensive lineman, and that's going to get called every time as he drives back towards the quarterback. Gives him another set of downs on the doorstep.
First down, Roughrider 12-yard line. Gable slides off the right side, but Mwamba there on the tackle, along with Moncrief.
Jump cut is one of his favorite moves. CJ Gable gets it here and a little shake in the hole and sidesteps, almost like a dead leg there. Leave that leg out like it's a lure for a big mouth bass and then pull it away.
So the third red zone trip of the second half for the Eskimos. 2nd and 6. They can make a first down without scoring a touchdown. And it's Riley calling his own number straight ahead. And down around the 3. He's going to be a yard short of a first down. He's not even looking at the bench.
Well, that's an interesting decision because
less than a yard, which makes it an easier decision, but you could go up by 11.
Get the first without scoring here.
But they are plunging ahead. That surge again is enough for a first down, and they really are winning the line of scrimmage on those here in the second half.
Yeah, Chris Jones said it about his former quarterback and now the quarterback he's playing against. That he, you know, if he needs to get 2, he gets 2.5 or 3. He'll grind it out. He's competitive. He knows exactly where he is on the field, and he knows what he's got to get. You see him just fighting for that extra inch or 2.
Right behind Matt O'Donnell there, who showed you his top offensive lineman credentials on the last couple of quarterback sneaks.
Yeah, and it was close enough that it wasn't really a decision. Moss going to go with that yard to go. It had to be about a half a yard more before it's a real decision for Moss.
Helps when your right guard is 6'11", 350. Right behind him again. Touchdown. Flag down again in that offside range, but I think it's the 3rd touchdown of the game for quarterback Mike Riley.
And you know, the quarterback sneak is not fun for quarterbacks.
Offside, Saskatchewan's defensive line. The penalty declined. Scored the touchdown.
It is for him.
Yeah, no, but he's good at it, and he'll battle at it, and he wants to do it. And he's big, strong runner at 6'3", 230, but it's not fun. I mean, you get your head twisted around. You get guys giving you shots in that pile. You get twisted and turned, and some are trying to pull you back. I mean, it's not much fun.
Sean White adds another convert. So back-to-back touchdown drives for the Eskimos. And it's now a 15-point lead as the Eskimos inch their way a little closer to 3rd place in the West. TV's most dysfunctional family returns for an all-new season of twisted drama. Shameless premieres tomorrow, 9 Eastern, only on the Movie Network. Well, it's a 15-point lead. Mike Riley is just tied for a share of the touchdown lead with his 3rd of the game, 12th of the season, matching Greg Ellingson. Thigpen is back, along with Christian Jones, and it will be Thigpen. And Thigpen ran into one Eskimo, bounced it outside, and uses his speed again, and nearly broke it all the way.
He can flat out fly. I mean, this guy can go. He was dead stopped. This wasn't just momentum and a cut to accelerate through a cut. This was stop dead in your tracks right here and then restart, get the corner, and run away from people.
Ran into the back of Jordan Hoover and then rerouted and ends up with a huge return that could stoke a comeback here. It's their first start in Eskimo territory. A 53-yard kick return by Thigpen. Again, first time he touched the ball in the CFL. A touchdown for the Ticats. First time he touched the ball in the NFL. A kick return touchdown for the Miami Dolphins. See what Brandon Bridge can do to rally the troops. What's wrong? Bag again, and that falls incomplete off the hand of Bag and almost into the hands of Colhoun.
Edmonton Eskimos have had chances for 3 interceptions in this game tonight. Arjun Colhoun has had a couple. That one tipped up. Aaron Grimes had one go through his hands. Johnny Adams in the first series had one go through his hands. But they are playing better. Same number of interceptions as all of last year. 8 more sacks than last year for this defense in Edmonton.
Big pressure, and they get to Bridge this time. They finally tracked him down. DeQuan Bowers has had a few opportunities and makes the most of that, driving Bridge back on the Saskatchewan side of midfield.
Watch how they
shake it up.
Sorry, Chris. Watch how they do it. They collapse the pocket from wide stances like this. They line up, spread out with an opening in the middle, but they close it. Armando Sewell moves into that opening, and then they don't allow for an escape lane from Brandon Bridge.
So Bowers' 6th sack of the year. Bridge went to the sidelines in some discomfort. Four minutes to go. They're going to punt the football on 3rd and long, despite being down by a pair of touchdowns. Jamil Smith on the return and brings that back to the 29-yard line. We mentioned Matt O'Donnell was pivotal on those 2 quarterback sneaks for touchdowns by Riley here in the 4th quarter, and he's a double nominee this year with the green and gold.
.6'11", 350, and he's up for top Canadian, top offensive lineman. Of course, Mike Riley, standing player. I know Brandon Zylstra was in the discussion in a big way. I think it's a lock for the nominee for defense, and Kenny Ladler. All the plays he's made, and Boateng has a chance.
Did a good job as a rookie at a Laurier at defensive end.
And I think he and
Antigua,
he and Toby Antigua, are gonna be the 2 front runners, and they got to both. One of them's got to come out of the West.
Well, the Eskimos now looking for a couple of first downs to put this one out of reach. Second and 8 after the carry by Gable. As we approach the 3-minute warning. Riley gonna go deep. Walker had a bit of a step there, but ball overthrown as Durant Carter, decent coverage there down the rail, and we have hit the 3-minute warning. Eskimos will be punting, but they have a 15-point lead at Mosaic. Jason Moss challenged that last play. He is looking for pass interference against Durant Carter.
Well, he not only challenged it, he's trying to sell it. Here they are at the top. I don't see it. I just don't. I think Durant Carter's going to turn and run, and Walker's in behind him. They kind of arm fight or hand fight for a second there and then just run together down the sideline, ball overthrown.
Unless there's a grab there, we can't detect from that angle, but otherwise it doesn't look like an issue.
And I'm watching Jason Moss on the sideline, and it's
freezing.
Talking about the receiver's running motion and that Deron Carter stopped his upward running motion, but they're permitting hand fighting. They're permitting the measuring from a defensive back, reaching out to measure.
After review, the ruling on the field stands. Incomplete pass. Edmonton has lost their only timeout.
I didn't see it. I think that's the correct call. I mean,
so the punt team will come on. I think it would have been game, set, and match had they won the challenge, but would you have kept that one in your pocket for something in the final 3 minutes? That
yeah, I don't think you had any chance to win that anyway. I mean, I'm not sure if Darrell Walker, we don't know.
Timeout, Saskatchewan.
That was right in front of Jason Moss on the bench there in Edmonton, so we don't know if Darrell Walker tried to really sell that to his head coach, but from the get-go, I didn't think that one had a chance. For the record, that's the 20th challenge for Jason Moss. He's won 9 of them.
Roughriders called a timeout. Looked like they had too many men on the field once again, so they burn a timeout.
They had a couple of those too. The Saskatchewan Roughriders got to clean up the penalty department. Their discipline.
Christian Jones awaits. Hugh O'Neill to punt. Jones has turned a couple games around with big returns this year. They could use one now. Like he was going to step out of bounds. Advances to the 50.
Get noticed like a pro in the 2017 GMC Sierra Elevation Edition.
Well, Vernon Adams has come in at quarterback. I wonder if this was part of the plan or whether or not Brandon Bridge was shaken up on that last sack by Daquan Bowers. He did go to the sidelines in some discomfort. Looked like he went right to one of the doctors. So Vernon Adams here with the Roughriders down by 15 and 2:31 on the clock. Hands it off to LaFrance, who dances around, gets hauled down by Aaron Grimes after a pickup of close to 5.
Vernon Adams hasn't had a lot of playing time, but that was a sloppy handoff. That was a turn around and kind of jammed it in LaFrance's stomach. And
well, there's Bridge on the sidelines. Looks like he's all right.
Yeah, looks like he'll be okay. And at this point, both teams in the playoffs, and again, just determining where they would travel.
Adams steps up. Armando Sewell says none of that, and brings him down right at the line of scrimmage. Sewell with his patented roll.
And it'll go down as one of the classic halftime interviews too of the season. Armando Sewell.
3rd down, and they were celebrating and heading off, but the Roughriders are going to stay on the field on 3rd and 10.
Watch him up on Diakowski, rolls inside, just a straight power rush, driving him back to Vernon Adams.
Gave it the sack celebration, and he has now 7 on the year and 6 in his last 7 games. So 3rd and 9.
There he comes again.
More pressure. Adams got away. Flag comes down. He's got Bakari Grant. Incomplete. Down the sidelines. And again, a holding call was going to negate that play anyway.
Holding, Saskatchewan, number 69. The penalty declined. Play results in an incomplete pass. Turnover on downs. First down, Edmonton.
Let's just show you Mondo Sewell. This isn't the penalty, but let's just show you. I mean, that last power rush on Peter Diakowski. Now on Diakowski, this time he's going to use his speed, try and go around him. He flushes Vernon Adams. That generates or creates the holding call for Bruce Campbell.
Got off to a slow statistical start. He was hurt. Rib issue earlier in the year, but he's been on fire in the second half and showing you why he is a perennial all CFL defensive tackle.
Oh yeah, and one of the reasons they've improved their run defense in a big way over the last 3 weeks.
Here's CJ Gable, and another good run inside the 45. The Nissan Titan Player of the Game, brought to you by the Nissan Titan, official vehicle of the Canadian Football League.
Honorary mention to CJ Gable. I mean, he had big impact on this game. Establishing the run early was important to set up play action, but touchdowns for Riley. Just shy of 300 yards, may get it in the last minute and a half here. Although they want to keep it on the ground now. Run down the clock.
Mike Riley just short of 300 again, as he was last week when at the end of the game he didn't have to pass for the last couple of minutes, and Gable with another good run for a first down. But Riley on the season at 5,830 yards passing. The best in a single season in Edmonton Eskimo history. 287 and 3 touchdown passes last week. 294 and 3 touchdown runs this week.
And depending on what happens tonight in Vancouver, may face Ricky Ray, who's the nominee for the Toronto Argonauts at Outstanding Player on award night.
Going to be facing the Winnipeg Blue Bombers next week.
Yes.
In the Western Semi. Gable again, little stop and start, and CJ Gable rolling up some yardage now. Close to 70 yards now on the ground, and he's also 4 catches for 55.
Yeah, we could have given him the player of the game as well. I mean, he was
what a huge
big part of it. Yep,
addition
absolutely.
he's been. The Eskimos will finish the final third of the season 5-1, and what an unusual win-loss line down on the season. 7 wins, 6 losses, 5 wins. Do they have 3 more wins in them? One more knee and it's in the books. And we'll only have one more thing to decide: who finishes first in the East and who will play host to the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and that will be determined by the next game up. Argonauts and Lions. 12th win of the year for the Eskimos, who've had maybe more adversity than any other team this season. 322 men.